praises. God. All praises and double honors due to Yahweh Shemi Awashai. He brought us again together on another mighty Shabbat, right? We're going into morning prophecy and deliverance. The two go hand in hand, right? It's a lot of prophecies that's been unfolding this week, like back to back to back, right? Rumors of civil wars, actual wars kicking off, actual leaders telling their people to prepare for land war with Russia, right? Even Israel being brought to court, right, to be held accountable for the crimes and the war crimes they've done and committed towards Ishmael. Not that we care about these nations, but it's important to speak about it and talk of it because the scriptures speak of it, right? The scripture's not going to say exactly that Israel will go to war with Gaza, right, in that exact verbiage, but it will speak of wars, right, that pertain unto them. All right, so with that, we can kick off with Matthew chapter 24, verse 1. Right, you should want to seek after the end. Seek towards the end and what's to come. Because what's to come next is the kingdom of Yahweh Shemi. That's something we long for, something we really, really look forward to. Before that, can you get, let's read that verse.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 1. And Yahushua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Yahushua said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another, that shall not be thrown down.
Right, and the same thing applies to this world. All the buildings and statues and so-called beautiful landmarks that you see to this very day is going to be overthrown and turned down by the hand of Yahweh Shemi, by the way of these missiles and the chariots and the angels and the sharp sword he has. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be?
So they come into Yahweh saying, hey, when is the end? I want to know what's about to happen. And that's the same spirit we have to have. When is the end? Did you see this happen? You saw that happen? Yeah, I saw that, King. So what's next? Our hearts is filled with joy reading and watching these prophecies go by and by and by. Because we've been here for a long captivity. For a very, very long time. And nobody wants to be here not a day longer. Right? We all wanted to leave yesterday. Bring out Exodus chapter 3, verse 9. We pray unto the Lord that we leave and have a speedy deliverance. David said, hey, make haste, Lord. Exodus chapter 3, verse 9.
It's the book of Exodus chapter 3 and verse 9. Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me.
Right? The cry of Israel has came and reached and pierced the clouds. And now the Lord is hearing it. He's hearing all of it, right? The bloodshed of the innocent, right? Even from Abel down to Zechariah, down to even today. Israel still innocently being cut down. Go ahead.
And I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them. Come now, therefore, and send thee unto Pharaoh. And I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt.
Out of where?
Out of Egypt.
And that's where we're going, right? Or that's where we're leaving, right? We're going to be leaving Egypt very soon. It's going to be a beautiful day, a beautiful sight. Lord willing, everybody in this room, everybody that's watching alive, all the sincere brothers and sisters, even the children out there, right? You have a speedy delivery, right? You can go back to Matthew chapter 24 and verse 3.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?
Now you have to understand, the Lord is going to give us signs and tokens. Can you get Amos chapter 3, verse 7? All right, the Lord, He's just not going to just say, here I am. Even the Bible, the scriptures, it builds up, right? This is if you have ears to hear, this is a righteous story. And it builds up. It has a climax, it has the ending, it has a beginning, it has main characters, protagonists, it has unfortunate turns and twists, right? Bring it up.
It's the book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 7. Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets.
And he's going to reveal all these secrets unto his prophets, right? Even further mysteries that our forefathers may not have known is revealed into this very hour. And that's beautiful. It may have been hard for Ezra to understand, well, what does he mean he's going to give, his word. Let's bring it out. As a matter of fact, let's just bring it out. That's First Ezra, chapter 1. You can get verse, You get that. Might be second Esdras. Where he gathered his people as a hen. If you can find it, you can bring it out. If not, we'll move on. Oh, here it is. Second Esdras chapter 2. Verse.
As a hen?
Yeah.
I was about to say. Yeah.
Verse 30.
How would I quote this? So
Start verse 29.
It's the book of Second Ezra, chapter 2, and verse 29.
Now, Slakia, start at, there's so much meat on this bone. Start at verse 26.
It's the book of Second Ezra, chapter 2, and verse number 26. As for the servants whom I have given thee, there shall not one of them perish, but I will require them from among thy number.
Right?
Be not weary, but when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance.
And that's us in these days. You know, you have certain people say, I don't think the end is going to be yet. It just can't be. I heard a brother on Twitter say, no, this can't happen. It can't be possible. For those with that mentality, I mean, you desire to be in Babylon a lot longer. And you enjoy seeing people being afflicted by the curses such as Deuteronomy 28 and 28, just bugged out on the streets. This is what you enjoy, right? The oppression of your people, the oppression of the children, men, women, and children. That's what you enjoy, and that's what you desire to be prolonged. But us, hearing the end, hearing these wars and rumors, it's like sweet. It's a sweet noise to our ears. It's like hearing one of the brothers' righteous raps. It's a pleasant joy unto our ears.
Right, brother.
Therefore, we're going to be rejoicing. We're going to be merry. I remember I almost did a backflip when Russia invaded Ukraine. Almost, right? I ended up doing it, and we just know we was rejoicing. All right? Bring it out.
It's the book of Second Ezra, chapter 2, and verse 26. As for the servants whom I have given thee, there shall not one of them perish, but I will require them from among thy number. Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance.
And I'm going to expound on that. It's going to be heavy, right? Just because, we know that the prophecies are happening doesn't mean, we should just kind of cease and stop. That means, in fact, you should really press your foot onto the pedal. Because when the Lord's coming back, you want to make sure you're doing everything right. Same goes for every brother in this room, and chiefly including myself as well, right? All the things that you've done during this week, and next week, make sure you do it twice as hard, right? Whether it be studying, reading, praying, and fasting, right? Not just saying it with your words, but actually writing it down. Whether you need to write down 3 precepts, 7 precepts a day, whatever you need to do to keep your foot on the pedal, keep doing it. All right? Go ahead.
Verse 28, the heathen shall envy thee, but they shall not be able to do nothing against thee, saith the Lord.
They ain't going to do a damn thing. Go ahead.
My hand shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell.
Mm-hmm.
Be joyful, O thou mother, with thy children, for I will deliver thee, saith the Lord. Remember thy children as sleep, for I shall bring them out of the sides of the earth, and show them mercy unto them, for I am merciful, saith the Lord Almighty. Embrace thy children until I come, and show mercy unto them, for my wells run over, and my grace shall not fail. I, Ezra, received a charge of the Lord upon Mount Horeb.
Right.
That I should.
Now you can jump down and jump to verse 35.
Verse 35. Be ready to the reward of the kingdom, for the everlasting light shall shine upon you forevermore. Flee the shadow of this world.
What is it?
Flee the shadow of this world.
Flee the shadow of this world. You gotta tell yourself that every day you wake up, to be honest. Of course, through your prayers, say, I gotta flee the shadow of this world. Constantly. And that includes telling yourself, I gotta put that old man 6 feet deep. You can go back to Matthew chapter 24, verse 4.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 4, and it reads, And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many.
Mm-hmm.
And ye shall hear.
And that's like real quick. 5 already happened, and it's still happening. Right? Man, we've heard it. We've seen people. Hell, we've seen people say, I'm David. We've heard people say that they're Moses. We've heard people say that there's Zechariah. I heard a sister say she's married. And how much more have we heard people say in our lifetime declaring that they're Christ? I mean, that's folly. If you're Christ, then we should be in the kingdom right now. If you're Christ, I mean, what are you doing? Go ahead.
Verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars.
You should hear what?
You shall hear of wars and rumors of wars.
You're going to hear wars and rumors of wars. Right? So let's dive into it. Italy, and this is new to me. Italy prepares for war. If war comes, Italy wants to deploy national reservist official statements. See that? Damn. And if I'm not mistaken, let's pull it up. I believe Italy is with NATO. So let's find out the members of NATO.
I believe so.
You can read that again, King.
It's the book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
But the end is not yet. So hold on real quick. All right, NATO member countries. At present, NATO has 31 member countries. These countries called NATO allies, right? And for those who may not know, NATO is an acronym for North Atlantic Treaty Organization. These nations are in league. They have a consensus, right? One with another. Are sovereign states that come together through NATO to discuss political and security issues and make collective decisions by consensus, meaning together. So best believe if Russia attacks Italy, I mean, by default, you're attacking everybody. And that's big news whether you want to believe it or not. And so here we see, and this is a reliable, pretty reliable resource on Twitter, right, who we may consider a whistleblower. Italy prepares for war, right? But there's also something else I want to bring out. So before we get that, you continue on.
Verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places.
Right, I want to harp on nation against nation, right? And man against man. Can you hold what you got? And you can just go to 2 Ezra 15 and 15. Before you read that, I want to read this, right? For those, have anybody heard what's going on in Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of controversy over that border and whether or not that they should allow these immigrants to come in or not, right? And I hate to refer to them as immigrants because those are our brothers, right? That's Issachar, Northern Kingdom, right? So let's tap into this video real quick.
Implementing a multi-phase plan to deploy razor wire.
Damn,
Here, look at what Dallas' military as well.
So brothers can, the volume's a little low. I turned it up to the best of my ability. So if you want to hear, you gotta hold your peace.
Governor here, North Dakota Governor Christie, no, she just arrived in Eagle Pass. She is set right now to take a boat tour with Texas DPS and Texas military as well. She will be accompanying Texas's Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick down there as well today. And the state, again, no plans to back down here. Look at what Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton tweeted out saying this morning. This image that says, "Come and take it."
See that? Come and take it, right?
Learn that Texas does plan to expand their efforts. They are implementing a multi-phase plan to deploy razor wire for at least 6 additional miles outside of the 2 that are currently strung in Eagle Pass. Shelby Park was phase 1 of that plan, according to sources.
So that's something big that's happening in this world, right? Or at least in Babylon itself. Now, it's something else I really want to add into that. Before I do, let me see if I can find that other resource. Where is it? Here it is. American citizens resist global decline. Chaos unfolds in Texas. Governor declares martial law. Right? Now we know Esau, he falls upon his own time a whole lot. Right? Can you bring out Psalms 52 and 2?
time. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 52 and verse 2. Thy tongue deviseth mischiefs like a sharp razor, working deceitfully.
Right, and his tongue works deceitfully all the time. At the end of the day, these elites, the Illuminati, they have a good idea of what's happening, right? That's why they, what do they call it? They have a lot of subliminal messages, and you have a lot of, whatever the other word is, I can't think of. That's right, predictive programming. Now, for those who may have watched the movie Bushwick, it's going to reveal something. Let's go to Wikipedia.
You gotta play that new trailer. So it'll work.
Yep, I got that in the arsenal.
That's right, brother.
So this movie came out in 2017. All right, it's still a pretty decent watch, along with Greenland, which we'll pull up in a second. Again, 2017. So let's read the plot. We're gonna jump down. All right. When they reach, Lucy is one of the characters. All right, and there's some other characters, but that's not really the main point. When they reach Lucy's grandmother's home, they find her already dead because of her heart failure. As mercenaries infiltrate the home, the two escape and retreat to Belanida's, Lucy's sisters, drugged up. It's like Lucy's sisters, drugged up. What is that name? Belinda does not realize what's going on until a mercenary breaks into her home. Subdues the soldier and asks, that's one of the other characters, Stoop subdues the soldier and asks him at gunpoint, explain what's going on. The mercenary reveals that Texas is seceding from the United States and has partnered with other southern states such as Louisiana, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, West Virginia, and Georgia, with parts of Maryland and Pennsylvania, to form a new American coalition with militias to infiltrate U.S. areas, including Bushwick, for insurgency. However, they did not expect the armed resistance from the neighborhood, right? Now, if you want to know more, you can watch the video, find out, more about it. Just watch that movie, all right? And that's literally what's happening, because it's gonna reveal it right here. Let me pull down. I believe they have a map. That's probably. I might have to pull it up on one of the other sources. While I'm looking for it, you can bring out Matthew chapter 12, verse 26.
So book of Matthew, chapter 12, and verse number 26. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand?
How is Babylon going to stand when America is going to go through another civil war? How's that going to happen? Go ahead.
And if I, by Beelzebub, cast out devils, by whom do your children cast them out? Therefore they shall be your judges.
So that's playing upon tables. You can go to 2 Ezra 15 and 15.
It's the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another.
Right? This is the Americans versus the government all over again. Right? If you think that the Lord said, when he was saying, nothing new shall be under the sun, if you think that's a lie, then, you're wicked. Your mind's not right. There's nothing new under the sun. You can go ahead.
And one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
And you had Trump and a few other politicians, they was laughing at Biden. They don't take that man serious. Everybody laughs at him. They don't regard their princes anymore. But look what's happening in the Senate. What did they do? I think it was the Senate. You had men popping men.
Oh yeah, that one.
That was off. That was the Democrats.
Yeah.
One of the parties of America. Just popping each other, just sweating at midnight.
Making videos of it too.
Yeah, making videos and just posting it online for the world to see.
Wow.
Sexual deviant.
So check this out. There are now 25 states standing in solidarity with Texas protecting its international border from invasion. So here are the states. Here's decent representation, right? So you got Oklahoma, right? Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Indiana, Ohio. That, yeah, you see the rest.
That's half of the United States.
Literally. That's literally about half of the United States. I mean, you can't get around it. So when it said, what's that? I think I closed it, that Bushwick movie. Let me pull that up, back up one more time.
In Slovakia too, if you saw it, there was a video somebody had crossed the borders, and he actually was somebody like he was an Arab, right? And he was he said, yeah, y'all gonna know who I am. And he said, I don't know why y'all don't know who I am. Y'all stupid if you don't know. And he was he was like wanted and was in jail for basically terrorism. And he out and in America.
See that? So you're gonna have these splinter cells, you're gonna have all these other nations just kind of going hand in hand with each other. Secret agents. What is that at? You read Matthew 12 and 26 again.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 12, and verse 26. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand?
That's right. And you can get do you read 2 Corinthians 15? 15?
Yeah, I did.
You can read that again and read more down.
It's the book of 2 Corinthians 15 and 15. For the sword and their destruction draw up nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. But there shall be sedition among them, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
That's right. The course of their actions shall stand in their power, right? With that, how many swords they have, how many troops they have, and they're literally fighting against America. All right? These are the states that's rallying behind Texas. West Virginia, Wyoming, right? Tennessee, Dakota, Ohio. And if you go back to that movie, this movie, right? The description, it tells you the mercenaries reveals that Texas is succeeding United States and has partnered with other southern countries: North Carolina, South Carolina, West Virginia, Georgia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania. So you can't make this up. It's what you call predictive programming. Now you got another movie.
What kind of American?
That's right. I like that scene. Right? If you know, you know. He said, "What kind of American are you?" And they may ask you that if you're in trouble.
The United States Army ramps up activity.
The White House issued warnings to the West.
They might say, "Well, were you born in this land? Tazadak, was you born in this land? Shamar?" You might say, "Yeah, whatever." And they may ask you, "Well, what side are you on?" What y'all gonna say? And the Lord's side. Yeah, how about Shmuel Shah's side? That's all it is. We call them suckers. Whatever they do, right? We got the Lord on our side.
19 states have seceded.
The United States.
So it said 19 states have seceded. If brothers want to hear it, you got to hold your peace.
19 states have seceded.
The United States Army ramps up activity.
The White House issued warnings to the Western forces as well as the Florida Alliance.
The future president assures the uprising will be dealt with swiftly.
Let me know if you want to try anything on.
Are you guys aware there's like a pretty huge civil war going on all across America?
We just try to stay out. With what we see on the news, seems like it's for the best.
Citizens of America, the so-called Western forces of Texas and California have suffered a very great defeat at the hands of the United States military.
Mr. President, do you regret the use of airstrikes against American citizens?
We're moving to D.C. today.
We need to go down there.
They shoot journalists on sight in the Capitol. Every instinct in me says this is death.
Like,
Every time I survived the war zone, I thought I was sending a warning home. Don't do that. here we are.
There's some kind of misunderstanding here. Look, we're American, okay?
Okay. What kind of American are you?
You don't know?
Hey, they gonna ask you that. They may ask you that stuff. You believe in Christ? Yeah. What color is he? They want to hear white. They want to hear Esau. They're gonna want to hear a white guy with blonde hair and blue eyes. And if you say, well, black, they got the gun ready, you got to deal with it, right? That's gonna be the beginning of the fifth seal.
The Western forces will reach the White House on July 4th.
They about to breach the White House.
You're gonna hang back.
I'm not hanging back.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America.
See, that's it.
Empire is formed. Hey man, the end is near, man.
That's right.
So, wow, there's nothing new under the sun. Right? And I got another source. Because, we all very well know that America is just an extension of Rome and Greece. Right? And it's an old saying, too, if you don't learn from the past, you're doomed to repeat it. And so here we see America falling under these civil wars and distress. And what happened in ancient Rome? Political instability returned to the empire with the crisis of the third century, right? 235 to 284, which saw at least 26 civil wars in just 50 years, as usurpers sought the imperial throne. The 4th and 5th centuries AD were characterized by a regular rising of usurpers. I mean, what happened just a few months ago or last year? Or maybe a year ago or two, you had people trying to break into the house of the governor of Michigan, Governor Whitmer. Yeah, they tried to kidnap her. I mean, you can't just look at that and be like, that was nothing. No, all these things are tied together. They're all in the same pot, right? You can't be ignorant of anything. Can you bring out Sirach 5 and 15?
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 5, and verse number 15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small.
That's right. You can't be ignorant of, I don't know what's going on. It's like it. I mean, you can't say that in that day. Well, when did this happen? When was this going to happen? I didn't know. I mean, it's all throughout the news. You can go back to Matthew chapter.
It's like it. Before you get that, matter of fact, get 2nd Ezra chapter 14
and verse, you jump down to 12. It's like verse 10.
Verse 10. 2nd Ezra chapter 14 and verse 10. For the world has lost its youth, and the times of the time, for the world has lost his youth, and the times begin to wax old. For the world is divided into 12 parts, and the 10 parts of it are gone already, and half of a 10th part. And there remaineth that which is after the half of the 10th part.
That's right. So during Ezra's time, right, it was around like 1030-ish or so, maybe a little bit later. How much more time has passed, right, over 1,000 or 10,000 years plus later? Thousands of years later, I'm saying. You go to 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 1.
So look at 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time, wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
Who knows what it means by measure the time?
Watch.
Yeah, that's right. Pretty much look and watch, right? Measure up what's happening in recent events to the scriptures to see if they align. And if they do all praise. And if they don't, you got to keep watching, right? You don't want to watch and think that, one thing is tied to this and it's not, and you all confused, right? You have some Israelites that said the fifth seal already happened. I mean, they're not watching good enough.
Huh?
Their eyes deceive them.
What?
Yeah, you said what?
Some people saying that was like slavery.
Yep, some people say that's slavery. Others say, we're going to go into another slavery. So they're just not watching the time and being circumspect like the scriptures say. So let's bring out this other information. It's like, you can go back to Matthew 24 and where you left off.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse number 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you.
Hold on, wait a minute, read that again.
Verse 9, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you. And ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
So those days are coming soon, right? The Lord's just, he's bringing out the red carpet. He's letting you know all these things are happening just to build up to that most important thing, right? Which is Revelation, the 6th chapter, which we'll get soon. But first, I want to bring out this list of significant earthquakes that happened in 2023. Let's bring this up. This is just one minor source once it loads. If brothers got precepts, you can bring them out as well.
I had a precept to go with the previous one in Second Measures.
All right, you got it.
Measured out the time and watch. It's the book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 5. Or chapter 5 verse 5. Ye are all the children of the light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night.
That's right. Yeah, you don't want to be drunk when your house shall come back. Right? You getting carried away in your own folly. It says among the earthquakes that occurred in December 2022, which is still relevant, there were none with magnitudes of 7.5 above, 5 earthquakes with magnitude of 6.5 and above, and well as 152 earthquakes with a magnitude of 5.0 and above. That's not a normal number, right? That's actually very high. I think it was last month or the month before, it was like 10 earthquakes that happened in a day, or 15, right? But of course, if you want to know more, that's where it lies in your hands to do your due diligence and research. There's only so much that we can bring out. Time will fail us to go over, all the earthquakes that happen throughout the earth, but nonetheless, we know that it's actually happening and we're able to see it and witness it. You can continue on in Matthew chapter 24.
It's the book of Matthew chapter 24.
Can you read verse 8 again?
Verse 8. All of these are the beginning of sorrows.
And what's deep is, the Lord said earthquakes, famines, a nation rising up against nation and rumors of wars. That's only the beginning of the sorrows. That means there's worse things to come. Go ahead. There's still the 7 thunders we don't even know about. For all we know, that could be speaking about some damn anything. Damn black hole, massive thunderstorms, anything. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
And that's going to really tie close in with after nations is rising up against nations and these wars happen, right? In other words, Jacob's trouble is around the corner. He's right around the corner. Let's prove that. Let's go to Revelation chapter 6, verse 5.
The book is Revelation chapter 6 and verse 5. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the fourth beast say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And
Can you hold that real quick and see what this horse is speaking about?
What does this horse represent? Can you go to Job chapter 39, verse 18?
It's the book of Job, chapter 39, and verse number 18. What time she lifted up herself on high, she scorneth the horse and his rider. Hast thou given the horse strength? Hast thou closed his neck with thunder?
Right, that's a rhetorical question, right? Horse represents strength within the Bible, right? Even in this context of Revelation, the 6th chapter and the 4th verse, right? A horse represents power and strength, and it's a black horse at that, right? Color also has meaning and representation, right? Go ahead.
Verse 20.
It's like you can go back to Revelation 6 and 4 again.
Book of Revelation, chapter 6 and verse 4. And there went out another horse that was red, and the power that was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another.
It's like it. You can go to 5.
Alright, verse 5. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances of in his hand.
Hey, judgment, captivity, slavery. That's what it's going into. Go ahead.
And I heard a voice in the midst of the fourth beast say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see that thou heard not the oil and the wine.
Right. And that's just simply going into, Lord, don't take away completely the knowledge of the Israelites and them know who they are. Right? It's always been remnants and drops of information of us always knowing and remembering who we were. Even when we came here through the slave ships, we still sung those so-called Negro spirituals, which are nothing but, relation to our culture, which is knowing that you're an Israelite, right? Swing low, sweet chariot, right? Coming forth to carry me home. Go ahead.
Verse 7. And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth.
And that's happening today, right? That's literally happening today. And when it's not just today, right? That you can say that happened a little bit earlier, even around. And it's just a rough estimate. You could start around like the 1400s, right? The late 1400s, late 1500s. That's when Esau began to rule back in power through the Renaissance, or after the Renaissance. Go ahead.
Verse 9. And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God.
And this is the 5th seal, right? See how 8 and 9 tie so closely together? In similar fashion, when you go to Matthew 24 again, right? Those rumors of wars, earthquakes, they tie hand in hand, right? With Yasharallah giving up the ghost and being slain for the name of the Lord. You can read that again in Matthew 24.
Verse 9.
God.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
They're going to kill you. That's what's going to happen to us, right? When you see these things, these recent events, remember that it's going to lead up to that moment, right? It's going to literally lead up to that moment of us being slain by the sword by Esau. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another.
Yeah, and some jakes, they're going to say, we just saw the movie. I mean, it's like the preview. He said, well, look, what kind of American are you? Some jakes going to say, I'm a full-blooded American. Some jakes going to be like, well, go Trump. Some jakes going to rip off their fringes, pluck out their beards. We chuckle, we can make light of it, but that's really going to happen. But we don't know who that could be. That could be anybody, which is scary in itself, because nobody wants to portray the Lord. But in that day and hour, man can say they'll do this, but he won't know. Even so with Peter. Lord, I won't betray you. I won't betray you. Let me see how that ended.
Let's get that account real quick. Let's get that account. Whoever got it first can pull it.
Alright, bet.
Luke 22.
22.
Start around 54.
Okay. I was gonna go there.
Yeah, you can read it. You can get Luke 22 and start at verse. God, you start there.
Okay, it's the book of Luke, chapter 22, and verse number 54. Then took they him and led him and brought him into the high priest's house, and Peter followed afar off. And when they had kindled a fire in the midst of the hall, and were set down together, Peter sat down among them. But a certain maid beheld him, as he sat by the fire, and earnestly looked upon him, and said, This man was also with him. And he denied him, saying, Woman, I know him not.
I don't know. They're going to ask you that day, are you Israelite? What's that? What you mean? They're going to play semantics. Well, technically, you know, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, so they'll just say, well, no, I'm not Israelite, because I'm really a Hebrew Israelite. They're going to play semantics in that day. So, no, I'm from the tribe of Judah. I'm not Israelite. I mean, that's what's going to happen. I already see it. Go ahead.
Son of God.
They're going to say, well, I was just a Muslim. No. In that day, you got to stand bold for the Lord. Ain't no, hold up, technically. Ain't no technicalities in that day. You either an Israelite or you not. Go ahead.
Verse
Yeah,
59.
Jake may say I'm a god. That's what I am. Yeah, you're going to say thou sayest. You're not going to want to say thou sayest when you got a gun in your face. You're going to say, well, look, I'm an Israelite. Whatever happens, happens. Stop thinking the Lord is just going to forsake you after you gave up your life in him. The Lord will be like, you gave up your life in me? Back to the trenches. You're going to hell. Not that there is one, right? The Lord's not going to do all of that. The Lord's going to deliver you up and place a crown upon your head, as is spoken of in 2 Ezra, the 2nd chapter. Continue.
Verse 58. And after a little while, another saw him and said, Thou art also of them. And Peter said, Man, I am not.
He said, man, no, I'm not. He wasn't saying, man, no, I'm not. He said it with emotion. No, bro, no, I'm not. I'm not. Stop lying. He probably said, stop lying. You know, what proof do you have? Now, you know, you just, go ahead. We know how Jake is.
And about the space of 1 hour after another, confidently affirmed, saying, Of a truth, this fellow was with him, but he is a Galilean. And Peter said, Man, I know not what thou sayest. And immediately while he yet spake, the cock crew.
Hold on, read 2 Corinthians 13:1.
And then I want us to read that again.
It's the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 13 and verse 1. This is the third time I am coming to you, and a mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall every word be established.
By the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word should be established. So, you know, he tried to fake the funk, but it's been established. He had 3 witnesses against him, declaring that you do know Yahushua, right?
I want to get the other account. Oh, no, you can read that again in Luke 22.
Luke 22 and verse 59.
Third accusation.
And about the space of 1 hour after, another confidently affirmed, saying, Of a truth, this fellow also was with him, for he is a Galilean. And Peter said, Man, I know not what thou sayest. And immediately while he yet spake, the cock crew.
He said, man, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you were saying. You are lying. I wanted the other account. Oh, it's like, is more?
Yeah. And the Lord turned and looked upon Peter. And Peter remembered the word of the Lord, how he had said unto him, Before the cock crow, thou shalt deny me thrice. And Peter went out and wept bitterly.
That's right. You gotta hope and pray that, you know, the Most High doesn't give you over to that fearful spirit in that day. And they didn't have guns towards him. They didn't have knives towards him. They just kind of say, hey, aren't you that guy? I mean, imagine having an AK in front of your face or your family's face. It may be your rib or your children. And they say, look, what are you? And they clearly looking at your fringes. They just want to see what you want to say. Now, the Lord can deliver you in that day just by being honest.
What it look like? What it look like?
Yeah, we're going to say what it look like.
What it look like?
And the elder, out of the eldest mouth, said, what it look like I got. Right? about to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say in the book of Matthew, when he describes from his point of view, it's more descriptive. It's Matthew 26,
26.
72.
Which one you at?
Matthew 26 and 72.
God.
It's like more like he's more passionate about denying it.
Yeah, let's get that account. I'm there too.
Matthew 26, you can start at verse 69.
The book of Matthew, chapter 26, and verse 59, or 69. And Peter sat without in the palace, and a damsel came unto him, saying, Thou also wast with Yahushua of Galilee. But he denied before them all, saying, I know not what thou sayest. And when he was going out into the porch, another maid saw him, and said unto him that were there, This fellow also was with Yahushua of Nazareth. And he denied with an oath, I do not know the man. And after a while came unto him they that stood by, and said unto Peter, Surely thou also art one of them, for thy speech bewrayeth thee.
You even talk like a Jew, right? You even talk like a Jew. And in that day, you saw me say shalom. You might say shalom. You're like, and that's going to reveal it. They're going to say, I know who you are. You're an Israelite.
So, you can't fake the funk. You got to deal with it, right? This is a part of drinking that cup.
It was long.
God, yeah, you got it.
Verse 74. Then began he to curse and swear, saying,
Oh my God.
I know not the man. And immediately the cock crowed. And Peter remembered the words of Yahushua, which was said unto him, Before the cock crowed, thou shalt deny me thrice. And he went out and wept bitterly.
And so the prophecy was fulfilled. Can you grab Ecclesiastes 5 and 2? You can start verse 1.
It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 5, and verse 1. Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of God, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools.
Go ahead.
For they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thy heart be hasty to utter anything before the Most High. For the Most High is in heaven, and thou upon earth. Therefore, let thy words be few.
Hey, that's plain. That's fitting for that account in Matthew the 26th chapter. He said, I swear by an oath I don't know. He swear by the Lord. He swear by man. By an oath. And he was found to be a liar by the hand of 2 or 3 witnesses. And you don't want to be that guy in that day. When all hell breaks, specifically when all hell breaking loose. Hey man, that's tough. And that's why we gotta gird up our loins. And at the end of the day, we know, the Lord is on our side. We gotta have faith and also continue to do the works.
So I just want one quick precept.
Yeah, you got it.
Matthew 11 and 6.
Bring it up.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 11, and verse 6. And blessed is he, whosoever shall not be offended in me.
Right. Blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. You can bring that out in Luke 7 and 23.
It's the book of Luke, chapter 7, and verse number 23. And blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me.
And so it's mentioned twice. It's mentioned more than once. Blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in the Lord. I mean, that's deep. Some Jake's gonna be offended that they know the Lord. Yeah, I'm an Israelite. Yeah, you're right. Hey, there was a brother that had a dream that a brother plucked out his beard and tucked in his fringes during Jacob's trouble. I know he cut it off his beard and tucked in his fringes. When the brother heard that, every brother was like, damn, we marveled at it. We said, oh, who is that? He got a beard, what he doing? Maybe it was him. But we didn't really say it like that, but we was thinking like, it's like, damn. Yeah, that's scary. It was another dream where brother said, look, I gotta go back to my family. I gotta go. And that's when he was at war at camp, he said, I gotta go. It wasn't the time to leave. He said, I gotta go. I got a family to take care of. In the midst of Jacob's trouble while his brothers is at war, I gotta go.
Hey, you can bring out, let's get this in Exodus. Let's get an account, Exodus 13, and I believe 21.
It's the book of Exodus,
Verse 19.
chapter 13, and verse number 19. And Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, but he had straitly sworn unto the children of Israel, saying, The the Most High will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones away hence with you.
Mm-hmm.
And they took their journey from Sakar and encamped in Etham, in the edge of the wilderness. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them by the way, and by night in a pillar of fire.
See what the Lord did for you? Bring out Exodus 23 and 20. You can't forget the miracle that the Lord wrought before Israel.
So look at Exodus chapter 23 and verse 20. Behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way, and to bring thee into a place which I have prepared.
That's right. You can bring out Psalms 94 and 14.
So book of Psalms, chapter 94 and verse number 14. For the Lord will not cast off his people, neither will he forsake his inheritance.
That's right. That's what has to be in your mind when you got that AK or your head in the guillotine. The Lord won't forsake his inheritance. The Lord won't forsake his inheritance. That's what's going to get you through in that day, right? Having that faith like Abraham, right? Not knowing what happened in 23 AD. Although those things can still be beneficial for us in this moment when it comes to edification. But remember to stock up on faith. Continue.
Con. Verse 15. But judgment shall return unto righteousness, and the upright in heart shall follow it.
Mm-hmm.
Who will rise up for me against the evildoers? Or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity?
Raise your hand if you'll raise up for the Lord. Lord willing.
Lord willing.
Lord willing. Lord willing, we'll stand up boldly for the Lord. And that's why coming to camp is so important. You get that faith booster, that test, and building up the experience. Right? Because in that day, you're gonna be thinking, man, I had guns pointed at me. I had bottles thrown at me. What's this? This moment is light. So what?
That's right.
Get it over
That's
with.
definitely right.
That's what I want to hear a lot of brothers say that in that day. Get it over with, Esau. Make it short and sweet. Yeah, make my day, man.
Do your worst.
Right?
Do your worst.
Yeah, do your worst. We're gonna be scoffing. Yeah, well, I like to see you try. Yeah, get busy. That was it.
Is that all? Is that all?
Hey, most time they have an angel kind of come down, deliver you. And, hey, anything can happen. It was I think it was Polycarp or another martyr. It took him like 10 times to try to kill him.
Polycarp.
It was Polycarp.
Yeah, Polycarp, faithful martyr.
Yeah, a faithful martyr. Let's bring that up real quick.
Maybe an abundance of fish.
Walk with the apostles.
He's a bad guy. They tried to smoke him. They tried to get him. They put one of the apostles in a burning calf.
Yep.
Antipas.
Dang.
Antipas? Yeah, 0155.
What, AD?
That's a good one. Polycarp. On the right side.
No, yeah, that's AD.
You say on the right side, you click on the right side. Can't be.
Oh, yeah, it is there. I want to see
All right, here it is.
Of course. He's white.
Yeah, Esau want to take credit for this. Yeah. Nah, that's a Jake.
You thought that's a new picture, bro. Look at that.
Yeah, that's Jake, man.
Last week, for real.
Look at the date in the painting. Look at the date in the painting. That's definitely past the 1500. You gotta go to the, it's another website. Don't go to Wikipedia. That shit past.
We got the breastplate.
I'm going to read this real quick.
You got the east.
Polycarp is 86-9-155 was a Christian bishop of Smyrna. According to the martyrdom of Polycarp, he died a martyr, bound and burned at the stake. Then stabbed, when the fire failed to consume his body, Polycarp is regarded as a saint. So I'm sure he was saying, that's all he did. That's it.
They try to get beast on him too, I believe.
Polycarp.
They was flaming the apostles, cutting off their skin.
Yep.
And they say he had a vision that his pillow was on fire or something like that.
Yeah.
And he said the Lord gonna basically, I'm gonna die by fire.
But this it's kind of like a one-way ticket to the kingdom. If you in this right here and you survive, or you kind of.
Hey, check this out. It's The martyrdom of Polycarp begins with the account of persecution and martyrdom of a number of Christians, as well as at least one person who renounced his faith to escape torture. Wow. See, it was that one person that did that. It was that one person. I'm not a Christian. Damn. The Christians at that time were being told, under threat of death, to renounce Christ. Confess that Caesar is Lord.
Caesar.
Wow. And offer incense to the emperor.
Wow.
One of the models of torture execution of the Christians was to have them attacked by wild animals in a public area after a number of Christians had been killed in this way. The crowds began to call for the blood of Polycarp. So that's deep. They said, renounce Christ. They didn't say renounce that you're an Israelite. Denounce that.
Get off.
It was another thing they did in Rome. I was looking into it earlier this week.
If you fall in jail for everything, you sit in jail for 2 years, no charge. Literally.
Hypocritical. Here it is.
This is what they did in Rome. There's no telling what Esau may do. I mean, his inventions and devices are numberless or innumerable. Right? It's called poena culi. This is what they did in Rome. Under Roman law was the type of death penalty imposed on a subject who had been found guilty of patricide. The punishment consisted of being sewn up in a leather sack with an assortment of live animals, including a dog, snake, monkey, chicken, or rooster. Just to give you an idea of what Esau is capable of, right? We wanted to desensitize you through spirit, right? The punishment may have varied widely in its frequency and precise form during the Roman period. For example, the earliest fully documented cases from circa 100 BC. All right. But the main thing is we're touching on Polycarp, right? And the devices that they have prepared for him, which is being burnt at the stake, flagging him, right? And it says, according to scholars, Polycarp initially wanted to give himself up, but his friends prevailed upon him to try to hide or escape. However, he was eventually found and brought into the city. The following excerpts are from J.D. Lightfoot's translation of Martyrdom of Polycarp. And he was met by Herod, right? Quote, and he was met by Herod, captain of police, and his father, Nicites, who also removed him to the carriage and tried to prevail upon him, seating themselves by the side, saying, why? What harm is there in saying Caesar is Lord? Damn. He said, what's the harm in that? It's just words. You know, why don't you just say it? Just say Trump is your Lord. Just say Trump will save you. Right? Why? What harm is there in saying Caesar is Lord and offering incense with the more to his effect in saying thyself? But he at first gave them no answer. When, however, they persisted, he's not going to persist. Don't you want your little girl, your little baby to kind of survive during this crazy time? Don't you just want to make it out? This is safe haven in the bunker. We'll show you. Just tear off your fringes. Just bring up the Bible. Just denounce that you're Israelite. Just eat this pork right here. That's all you gotta do. Just a little bit of pork. Oh. When, however, they persisted, he said, I am not going to do what ye counsel me. Then they, failing to persuade him, uttered threatening words. See, that's Esau, right? Uttered threatening words and made him discount him with speed, so that he bruised his shin as he got down from the carriage. And without even turning around, he went on his way promptly with speed, as if nothing happened to him. Being taken to the stadium, there being such a tumult in the stadium that no man's voice could be so much as heard. And that's deep. All because he doesn't want to pronounce the Yahushua. All because of that. That's how they know, the Edomites and nations, they know how much power the Bible holds. And how much, being in the truth and being an Israelite holds. How important it is. The letter then describes Polycarp's final minutes. But as Polycarp entered into the stadium, as a voice came to him from heaven, saying, "Be strong, Polycarp, and play the man." Yeah, that's deep. And no one saw the speaker, but those of our people who were present heard the voice. And at length, when he was brought up, there was a great tumult, for they heard that Polycarp had been apprehended. When then he was brought before him, the proconsul inquired whether he were the man, and on his confessing that he was, he tried to persuade him to denial, saying, "Have respect to thine age, and other things in accordance therewith, as if they're wont to say, swear by the genius of Caesar. Repent and say, away with the atheists." Christians were called atheists because they did not believe in the gods of Rome. Damn.
Wow.
Then Polycarp, with solemn countenance, looked upon the whole multitude of the lawless heathen that were in that stadium, and waved his hand to them, and groaning, and looking up to heaven, and he said, "Away with the atheists." It's kind of hard. But when the magistrates pressed him hard and said, "Swear the oath, and I will release thee. Revile Christ." And Polycarp said, 66 years have I been his servant, and he hath done me no wrong. How then can I blaspheme my king who saved me? And he said some mighty words, man. And he said some precious words. Realizing that Polycarp would not recant, his captors threatened him with wild beasts. And Paul was put in the same predicament, because he said he fought with beasts at Rome, right? Or Ephesus, I should say. Right? He fought with beasts at Ephesus. All right, so again, realizing that Polycarp would not recant, his captors threatened him with wild beasts. When that did not work, he was threatened with burning alive. That did not frighten him either. Early in the letter, Polycarp says that he had a vision of being burned alive, right? A pyre was made, and the wood caught on the fire, but Polycarp was unharmed. Can you get prayer as Azariah 1:1? I got it after this.
It's prayer Azariah chapter 1 and verse 1. Then Azariah stood up and prayed on this matter, and opened his mouth in the midst of the fire. And
in the midst of the what?
In the midst of the fire, and said, "Blessed art thou, O Lord God of our fathers. Thy name is worthy to be praised and glorified forevermore."
So Polycarp did the same thing. Essentially, I'm led to believe, right, outside of what the scholar may know, I mean, he said, "Blessed art thou, the Lord." Yahweh Shem Yahweh. You got it.
Can you get St. Matthew chapter 10 and 19?
It's a nice precept. It's the book of St. Matthew chapter 10 and verse 19. "But when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what ye shall speak, for it shall be given to you in that same hour what ye shall speak.
That's right. Hey, that's plain. You don't want to think too hard. You don't want to make a speech. You got your flashcards, you're practicing in the mirror. Okay, I can you slipping up your lines. No, just let it flow natural. You want, you gotta, when you there, you're like, hold on. Right. And you gotta shake their hand. Yeah, you're supposed to say this. Okay, now I'm gonna say this. That's all. It's not, it's not a movie, man. You said what?
Did you get that scribe?
Yeah, did you get that? You want a scribe there. You want witnesses. It's not gonna play out how you make money. Right? This is real life.
One more sentence.
Yeah, one more. And he's like, shut up. And you can't get your sentences out.
Long-winded.
Yeah, you don't make a long address. Oh, my people in Israel, Wada. You just think about the Grammys. Oh, my people.
You got two readers.
Yeah, you get your readers there too. Let me get a precept real quick. You saw. They don't care about that in that day, man. Yeah. It's saying, you can get John chapter 19. It's like here. 16 and 1.
It's the book of John, chapter 16 and verse 1. "These things I have spoken unto you, that ye should not be offended. They shall put you out of the synagogues. Yea, the time cometh, that whosoever killeth you will think that he doeth God's service."
And they called him atheists. They called Polycarp an atheist. They thought that they was doing God's service. Go ahead.
And these things will they do unto you, because they have not known the Father nor me. But these things have I told you, that when the time shall come, ye may remember that I told you of them. And these things I said not unto you at the beginning, because I was with you. But now I go away to him that sent me, and none of you asking me, whither goest thou?
And sit on that, right? But that's deep, and that's something we also have to carry in our hearts as well. Of our heart, I mean our mind. So again, fire was made, and the wood caught on fire, but Polycarp was unharmed. Then a man stabbed him in his heart, and a great gush of blood came out and extinguished the remaining flames. Damn. Hold on, let me read that again. Then a man stabbed him in the heart, and a great gush of blood came out and extinguished the flames. It's like the remaining flames. After his death, by stabbing, his body was burned.
Damn, his blood was like that. Damn.
Now the blessed Polycarp was martyred on the second day of the first month of Xanthicus, on the seventh before the calends of March. On a great Sabbath, at the 8th hour, he was apprehended by Herodes, Herod.
That's right, brother. That's
That's right. When Philip of Tralles was a high priest, the proconsulship of status of Quadratus, but it reigned. Yeah, that's pretty much it on that, right? And it's more mighty men of valor that were martyrs for martyred for the Lord. Yahweh Shai. So you gotta gird up your loins and days.
Get Matthew chapter 12. Get there first.
12 and what?
30.
What does it say?
I'm there.
Oh.
You can start at 12 and
Where I want you to start.
Matter of fact, get Luke 7 and 40.
It's the book of Luke, chapter 7, and verse number 40, and it reads, And Yahweh shall answer and said unto him, Simon, I have somewhat to say of thee. And he said, Master, say on. There was a certain creditor, which had 2 debtors.
Start 43?
Oh, you said 40.
Kind of. It's like,
You want to go 43? 43. Simon answered and said, I suppose that he to whom he forgave most. And he said unto him, Thou hast rightly judged. And he turned to the woman and said unto Simon, Seest thou this woman? I have entered into thy house. Thou gavest me no bread, so like no water for my feet. But she hath washed my feet with tears, and wiped them with the hairs of her head. Thou gavest me no kiss. But this woman, since time I came in, have not ceased to kiss my feet.
Right? So when the Lord came into her house, we find this woman performing mighty, wonderful works and showing a great act of kindness towards Yahweh Shai by kissing his feet, washing him. Go ahead.
Time. What was feet? Verse 46. My head with oil thou didst not anoint, but this woman anointed my feet with ointment. Wherefore I say unto thee, her sins, which are many, are forgiven. For she loved much, but to whom little is forgiven, the same loveth little.
Right. So if you love the Lord a little bit, he's going to forgive you a little bit. And if your works show that you love him greatly, and he's going to forgive the multitude of your sins. Right? You only love him as much as your works show it. So you can't say, well, I love the Lord, and you read one verse a week. You read a verse a week. Or you just tell your brother, shut up all the time. And you uppercut him. Right? And you don't want to, read to your rib. You don't want to read to your kids. And you say, well, you got to work out your own salvation. Right? You can't move in that spirit in these last days.
all right, you can bring out Revelation chapter 22, verse. You can grab verse 19.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 22 and verse 19. And if any man should take away from the words of this book, so like in the words of the book of this prophecy, the Most High shall take away his part out of the book of life, and out of the holy city, and from the things which are written within this book.
That's right. You can jump up to 14. I'll bring us closing.
Verse 14. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city.
Right, so blessed are they that keep the commandments.
Can you bring out Sirach chapter 35, verse 4?
So book of,
Matter of fact, you grab Titus 2 and 6.
book of Titus chapter 2 and verse 6. Young men likewise exhort to be sober-minded.
What did it say?
Likewise, young men. So like young men likewise exhort to be sober-minded.
Right, so you want to exhort other men and brothers to be sober-minded, right? Not just on a carnal level, but on the spiritual level as well. You shouldn't want to be tapping into these other doctrines and philosophies and getting carried to and fro. Go ahead.
Con in all things, showing thyself a pattern of good works.
See how it's even stated again, you have to show yourself a pattern of good works. You have to be blameless to the best of your ability, right? And again, we all may fall short here and there, but it's all about getting back up. And if you're able to get back up, go ahead.
In doctrine, showing uncorruptness, gravity, sincerity, sound speech that cannot be condemned, that he that is of the contrary part may be ashamed, having no evil thing to say of you.
And we all strive to be like that, including myself. We all strive to be like that one brother you say no evil thing towards. Go ahead.
Verse 9, exhort servants to be obedient unto their own masters, and to please them well in all things, not answering again.
And that falls into being in a congregation, right? With that, close out with Sirach 35 and 3.
Bring it out, King.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 35, and verse number 3. To depart from wickedness is a thing pleasing unto the Lord, and to forsake unrighteousness is a propitiation. Thou shalt not appear empty before the Lord, for all these things are to be done because of the commandment.
Right, and that's according to the law, right? You can't appear empty before the Lord during the 3 times you have to appear in Israel, right? But even on a spiritual level, there's works that the Lord is requiring of you, right? If the Lord requires that you be an historian, then shoot forth thy works. If He's requiring that you be a scholar or any other office that may fall upon you, you have to fulfill it to the best of your ability, right? That's serious business. This is the Lord's office at the end of the day. You don't want to be slacking or procrastinating, because you definitely wouldn't do it at work.
That's right, brother.
You still walk by, you kind of work harder. They put their phone away. But when the Lord not, physically present in our face, right? As I can see Taz and these brothers, that's how you gotta see it, right? That's how you should see the Lord, or imagine and envision the Lord, right? Being next to you all the time. So with that, with the business of Shalom, Aparasa, as was been edified with the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai. Right, that was the morning prophecy, and a little bit of deliverance and having faith in these last days. With that, Shalom.
Shalom.
Come here,